Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon or good evening, depending on what your location is. My name's Sananda, and this is the Awakening Your Spiritual Truth YouTube channel. I'm glad to have you here today. And today we're going to be talking about maintaining your spiritual path. Now, this can be a tough thing to do sometimes. Why? Why is it tough? Well, in our video today, we're going to discuss distractions, where they come from, and how we can be conscious of that so that we can maintain our focus on our spiritual path and continue our awakening. So, where do these distractions come from? Now, these can be distractions like work, family, money, sex, hobbies, you name it. There's not limitations to that. But where do they come from? Well, if you remember in a previous video, I discussed about us initially making the choice to leave source, to leave our where we are, where we come from, what we are, pure energy, pure love, and to come to this physical realm, to start creating our existence on this planet, on this physical realm. In order to do that, we had to make ourselves forget who we really are, our higher self. Had to go to sleep and forget and start dreaming. Now, in that dream, had to make a persona, the persona that we use to get through this life. And when we do that, we create the ego. Now, a lot of people want you to believe that the ego is a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It gives you the persona and the personality that you are. Now, some people allow that persona and that ego to get highly inflated and become overcompensation. The ego will also protect itself. And as we begin our spiritual journey to reawaken and reconnect with our higher self, to come back to source, it is going to put up one hell of a fight to keep itself alive. It realizes that once we eventually make that full connection, then this body ceases to exist. And that is the end of that persona, that identification. And the ego doesn't want to die. That, in my mind, is one of the big reasons people fear dying so much, is the truth of death has been manipulated to support when we die, that's the end of it. In reality, that's not true. It's the end of this. It's the end of this ego. And that's where the fear comes in. But the reality is, we're energy. We cannot die. We just transition back to source. We go back to where we came from. So there is no death as we believe. But that doesn't mean that the ego is going to make it easy. So we have to be able to identify the fact of where these distractions are coming from. When we can identify those factors and the distractions, then we can overcome that. We can refocus ourselves and understand that it is not the end. There's no reason to fear. There's no reason to not proceed with our journey. Now, I will say that once this journey begins, there's no turning back. Once these realities start making themselves known, it's going to be a forward motion. You might sit on the sidelines where you're at and take a break. But once you get up and you start to walk, you can't go backwards. You're going to keep going forward. It's just the way that you desire it to be. You being the higher self. This persona, the ego, is going to want to go back sometimes. It's going to want to go back and play with sex or the toys or whatever, the drugs, what the distractions are that we have. Yeah, you can play with them. You can go out and have a game of golf or you can go out and make love or have sex or whatever. Once that is completed, you're still on that journey. You still got the option or the opportunity to move forward again. It's picking up from where you left off. It comes down to your desires, to your choices, and which ones you're going to make, and how much you allow the ego to mess with you. How unconscious are you going to be? Or are you going to get back into consciousness and continue on? The choice is yours, my friends. There are times when it seems very difficult and you're going to want to stop. You're going to want to say to hell with all this. It's not worth it. And I'll tell you right now that it absolutely is worth it. It's just that it's hard. And sometimes we get tired. And sometimes we get bored. And it's not about just being good. That has nothing to do with it. You be what you are. But you can be that and still have consciousness. That's the key. I look forward to seeing you in the next video because I'm going to end this one now. I don't want to make it excessively long. There's no reason for it. The topic has been covered. The points have been made. Now it's up to you. How are you going to deal with it? Because I can't do it for you. You have to be the one to do it. So back to this part. If you find this interesting, can you push the subscribe button and the like button? Because that sets YouTube up to know that you're enjoying this content. And I appreciate it. Please leave comments. Let me know what you're thinking. If you have questions about today's video, down here in the comments, I'll answer them. As many as I can. And as it stands right now, there's not that many being made, which is okay. Apparently that's the way it's supposed to be. But if you do have those questions, by all means, make them, put them in there, and I'll do what I can with them. So until the next time, I look forward to seeing you. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your distractions, but stay focused. Bye-bye.